It's the Midnight Sun Kiss Skin Under the Red Skies, VGC the Video Game Podcast, episode 174 with me, Jordan Midler, and Andy Robinson. This week, an even more expensive rectangle, but first, how's it going, folks? Andy, you landed back in Blighty to...
Singular.
Folk singular to extreme hot weather. How are you handling it?
Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
British heat. It's a special kind of heat.
I saw you've got that
the
fancy fan that's like, it's got no blade, it's just the big circle. How does that, how are they good in practice? There it is.
What is?
Yeah, the old Dyson number.
I mean, it's a fan.
I don't understand how it works.
I don't even really know what the advantage is, to be honest, other than you think it's cool because there's no blade moving in it. But it's still pretty noisy. It produces about the same amount of cooling breeze.
The people that have started kicking off with like full-on air conditioning units, I'm looking at them and I'm like, that's
it's got to happen, isn't it? It's got to happen. We're not equipped for this in our big brick houses.
Yeah,
you know, that trap the heat in. It's absolutely horrendous. It's amazingly hotter than it was in Japan. Even though if you check my social media, I got very, very burnt from that for the podcast last week where Chris and I recorded the 20 minutes in the park. I was very burnt after that. Just straight 20 minutes, no lotion, my British skin problem.
Yeah. It's to be very hot when we're away next week. So I've already got my sun.
Oh, is it
ready.
really? I've not even looked.
Yeah, it's about like 30. So that's bald heads.
I don't even plan to be outside, to be honest. It reminds me of when I've got like very pasty skin anyway, right? But when I was like 18, 19, I had even pastier skin, believe it or not. It had not been exposed to the sun. It was training to be a games journalist. And I just remember going to that I've probably told this story a million times, the infamous Sony 2006 Ridge Racer press conference. And it was at the Sony Pictures lot, like the proper movie lot. And I just remember going in and this security guy's like, make sure you use some sunscreen, sir.
You're like, you what? Don't speak to me, mate.
You what?
My family, my dad specifically, when he goes on holiday, he'll tan for one day and he'll look Greek. Like he'll look like a completely different.
It's really annoying. It's really annoying. I mean, I tried it in my 20s. I remember me and a few mates went to Cancun in Mexico, and we sort of had like like a on the beach sort of room.
Oh yeah.
So we had like full access, and I'm going to make a point of this. I've got 2 weeks. There's not really much going on here. And I kind of like laid on the beach for 2 hours a day in oil for a fortnight. Nothing.
Yeah.
just vague burns in areas where you happen to miss.
Yeah.
Like I think one year I burnt my, my eyelids.
Jesus.
How do you burn your eyelid? Who's putting suntan lotion on their eyelids?
Not me. I have a very specific memory of being on holiday with my parents and really badly burning my back. And then that night, instead of going out to the dinner, I was lying like face down on the bed in the hotel playing my PSP Go, playing Peace Walker on it, and having like Spanish Nickelodeon on the TV. I was like, this is the life. This is what it's all about. But man, the sun, stay out of it.
But these are pre mobile phone days, right? Yeah. I remember. I think that this particular holiday, I just got the first iPhone. So it would have been like 2007, 8, something like that. And, but you know, that's like times where your phone's not going to work abroad, right? And, you could just be bored. And I remember like we watched like the entire Matrix trilogy, Anger Management. Do you remember that movie?
Oh yeah.
Just movies like that, right?
It was like I remember in that era specifically, they would have, whenever we'd get to the hotel, I'd be like, right, where's the internet cafe in the hotel? Like, have they got a bank of like 4 desktops where you can go for a couple hours?
Yeah. I remember. You know, you never think you're going to become the old man, do you? I mean, I'm talking to you. You're not there. But so anecdotes like this make you sound like Grandpa Simpson. Yeah, I remember Tim Ingham, who was the editor of CBG. I was a dep ed at the time. This is like good 15 years ago. That he told me over email that he was leaving, and I was like in a webcaf in Ibiza, trying to take stock of this important message. Oh, it was, yeah, in the club.
Yeah, I remember like that. Those little banks of computers. I would go on Bebo and send like one message to each of my pals a day, and then I'd come back the next day and see what everyone was saying. It was class. It was like you actually felt like you checked out of reality for a couple of weeks. Whereas now, like Wi-Fi on the plane, like I'm never not in connection with everyone.
It's so insane. Like you see something I talk about a lot in private, right? That Keza McDonald once recommended me this book. It's called The End of Absence. And it's about how we're the only generation that exists and will exist that knows the difference between before and after being constantly connected, basically. I think it's so important to teach kids to be bored.
Yeah.
My kids will moan within 10 seconds away from a device that they're bored, right? But generally, I try and keep them away from iPads, and they're definitely not having phones.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Because that's where the imagination, the magic comes from, right? I remember daydreaming, staring out of a train window 2 hours a day. Yeah. And now, if you walked off this podcast, my phone would be out within 5 seconds, right? And that's the same with everyone.
Well, if you're bored this October 16th, VGC Live from Glasgow's Oran Moor. Still a handful of tickets left. We sold some more last week after.
We've still got tickets left.
There's, I think a row's worth of tickets is left. So if you've got...
We've been on fumes for about 2 months, and it's like the last 10 people really don't want to sit in that row.
That's the thing. Like I keep saying to people, there'll be a moment when when things get announced for it, and people
also people are like, I speak to people who are like, yeah, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Have you got a ticket? No.
Yeah.
Well.
And there's nothing we can do. Like
short.
every seat in the gaff is on sale, so we can't do anything if it's too much. You can sit in Alex Donaldson's knee, but you have to pay him separately. So go and get your tickets for that.
And he charges a lot.
Yeah, he does, especially these days, especially since he's so jobless. You can also check out patreon.com/Video Games Chronicle. We'll be talking a little bit more about Patreon in the back half of the show this week, but check that out for ad-free browsing, more podcasts, more videos, and plenty more.
Did you see the 007 First Light account did the games business on us?
Oh, did they? Oh yeah,
we're in the accolade thing as Video Game Chronicles.
Yeah,
that's my most annoying typo. I named that one. It makes it sound like we're like a mid-level spin-off of like another website.
That's what me and Chris will do when we get sacked.
The old Video Game Chronicles.
What's more annoying, that or when they convert 5 stars to 10 out of 10?
Yeah, that is annoying.
I actually had a publisher recently ask about an accolades thing and asked if they could convert it, and I was like, no, you cannot convert it. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's fine, okay. So I appreciate
I've got a picture somewhere, because there was a period where on CVG, we used to syndicate the magazine reviews.
Oh yeah.
Like they had this weird system, like where Future had this period of like where they decided it would be more efficient if there was like a reviews hub. And it did work quite well, to be fair. You had like this crack review, expert review team. And they'd review for, you wouldn't waste resources, basically. I think some man in a suit somewhere has gone, why have we got 4 people reviewing the game 4 times, So for unofficial stuff, they'd kind of like, the CVG review would appear in, XPW magazine or something like that. Anyway, digressing. There was one I've got a picture somewhere. It's like a red bus, London bus, with a billboard on it for the first Tomb Raider reboot. And it was like, I think it was like a Games Master 90%, CVG 9 out of 10, and it was the same review. They just put it on there twice.
Love a good accolades trailer. Anyway, let's get into it. A couple of stories this week. The first one, story number 1, Valve's Steam Deck gets a huge price increase. The 1TB OLED model is now $949. That's $949. The 512 gig OLED model is now $789. It was previously $549, and the 1TB model, as I said, is $949 and used to be $649. For UK members of this parish, your 1TB is £779. Valve put out a small statement saying Steam Deck itself hasn't changed. These new prices reflect the current state of component costs. and other global logistical challenges across the industry as a whole. We'll keep you updated if anything changes. Andy, this Steam machine they're going to put out is going to be about 10 grand at this point.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? It really doesn't feel like reassuring for the future of the Steam machine, right?
Yeah.
At this, I'm just struggling to get my head around that price, $950. Like Xbox ROG Ally and stuff like that now. I just don't understand why you'd get a Steam Deck versus those at this price.
Yeah. Especially because component, like power-wise, the Steam Deck's like, people were saying in our Discord, like it's starting to creak, like it's an older machine at this point.
Yeah. Oh, it totally is. I mean, I got mine, it's got to be 2 years ago. And even then, it's like that thing's not running. It's running last gen games and indie stuff, basically. Last gen, like you play like Control, like things like that. It can play. I mean, because the thing is these days is that modern AAA console games, they'll scope them quite widely for different specs of devices, right? So stuff like Assassin's Creed Shadows and what was the other big one? I can't remember. There was another big game that year that also the modern games that like Star Wars Outlaws and stuff. It'll run on Steam Deck, but really compromised, right? Like it looks like you're playing it for a potato. Certainly, Switch 2 with DLSS feels a lot more powerful than that thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely, and it's the kind of thing that it puts Valve in a weird position when, if they're going to start doing more hardware, obviously they put out the controllers. It seemed like the controllers were just ready to go, and obviously that's like the one part of this story that doesn't need chips, so they could just fire that out. But when they come back and start talking about a Steam machine, if they're like, well, this is going to be £1,200 or whatever, at that point it's like, where does this fit in my setup? How powerful is it even going to be for that money? When it
feels like the dream's done, doesn't it? It's like it's this weird thing. It's just the audience has kind of gone elsewhere, right? Games. There's a lot of talk about how expensive games are and stuff like that. Now and how the whole, generations of people have been priced out. But video games are more accessible than they've ever been.
Yeah.
You can go and play a mobile game or Fortnite or Roblox and stuff for absolutely nothing. People have never had more games more readily available to them for little money. It's console games that have now become the premium. But I think it's like nothing's more stark to me, of a demonstration for what's kind of been left behind. That I got my Nintendo 3DS out the other day and showed my daughters, and they like blew their minds.
Yeah.
This thing with all of the social features on it and stuff like that. There's just nothing like it anymore.
I was thinking about when you posted that, I was thinking about it and I thought that older stuff, that kind of lower spec stuff, it doesn't really matter to modern like child audiences, because you look at Roblox and it's like the ugliest thing you've ever seen. Of course,
yeah, they've been conditioned. Yeah, that audience has gone somewhere else. That audience doesn't really exist. I mean, we talk a lot on this podcast about how expensive it is to get into. Like, if you want to buy GTA, if you're a man in Walmart this Christmas, you've got to shell out like $600 for a PS5, right? Or whatever it costs now. Whereas you're getting a PS4 for like $200 at this stage of the life cycle. However, the NEX Playground, doing well. And, it's quite obvious that where's the lower entry point for console games now? But I imagine if you had the top men from these platform holders here, that they would say, well, if we price a $250 box, I'm not really sure that audience is really there anymore, right? I mean, like, say, for example, this is different times, but has Series S been a huge hit? Like Series S was envisioned as this is going to be the main driver of Xbox users. But really what happens is when you're in a premium ecosystem, no one wants the cheap one, right? They go for the top one.
Yeah, they ran up against the problem of the audience wants the power race.
When you're developing this premium ecosystem, it's about offering even shinier things for $50-$10 more, right? It's why they're making so much money on controllers and peripherals and stuff like that.
I thought it was interesting. There was a lot of chat this week about James Bond 007 First Light, which go and read our review, watch our video.
What's a game, by the way?
Have you started playing it? It is a...
Dude, I can't remember if I text you or not. I've not got far, but it's a special game, isn't it? Very clearly. I mean, there's parts of it where, like, I'm not a fan of stealth games in general. They piss me off. So there's a couple of sections where I'm like, it does the stealth thing where it's like, there's very clearly a route that you want me to take. And I've taken the wrong one and now I've been seen and shot, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do. It's very linear and clumsy in that way sometimes, but everything else around it is just fantastic. Like, I love how it cuts like a film.
Yeah.
Everyone is talking about the tutorial at the moment, but he does that in loads of places where, like, M might tell you to clear off, and then it quickly fades back, and then you're at the elevator and you're going somewhere else, and it respects your time in that way
massively. And
I think that's something that's going to be copied.
Definitely the idea that they're not precious about making you do the walk between, like, the car and the next training session. It's like, okay,
because you're doing
it's
funny, like, because it makes you think, doesn't it? Is that after that, it's like, that's such a big hangover of games from the 2000s era. Like, Half-Life was one of the first games that did that, where it was like, there are no cutscenes and you're entirely immersed in the world. And no, you have to do the walk down the corridor. Why do you?
Yeah. And people are talking about the walk and talk stuff. I'll get back to my price point in a minute, but people are talking about the walk and talk stuff. But most of the time that's like, okay, you're walking through a gala and you're getting information, but at the same time, if you're using your human eyes, you're like, okay, so there's a little route up there and there's 2 guards there, but I could probably get that guy with that. I just think it's a really exciting game. It looks ridiculous as well on PS5 Pro. Like, that is a stunning looking game.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
But yeah, people were talking about the fact that it's like a 14-hour game for 70 quid, and then people were coming back at them being
people
like,
still having that conversation.
Yeah, people were coming back at them
like, my favorite game of all time is Res, right? You can finish it in an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, who gives a shit like how long? Like, but you genuinely do see it, don't you? Especially among younger players that, it's less than 40 hours. I'm not getting. I understand that people want to get value for their money, but do you really want a watered down 40-hour experience as opposed to an absolutely brilliant 15-hour one? I mean, I know what my opinion is.
So many of my favorite games from, like, the 360 era are like 10-hour single player games that you paid 50 quid for.
Call of Duty campaigns, right? The best Call of Duty campaigns.
Oh yeah, like the Modern Warfare campaign's like 5 hours long. The original one, like, it's. I think it's a false equivalence, a stupid argument to have when people are starting to be like, oh well, Crimson Desert's like 400 hours. But yeah, it's like, but how much of that, if you shaved off all of the
walking
muck,
through a desert?
Yeah. So I think that it's obviously prices mean different things to different people, but I just think that and the reaction to this Steam Deck thing, especially online, has been so visceral, and no wonder. Like, a 40%, over 40% jump is crazy. Like, that is really stark. And
I mean, who knows what's going to happen with Steam Machine now?
Yeah.
I mean, that thing was positioned as the cheap entry point into PC gaming. I mean, I know you joke about this, or have joked about this in the past, but PS5 Pro really is the best deal in games right now. You're starting to see the third party games are really starting to produce the goods on that platform, aren't they? Like, we've had some really good PS5 Pro versions recently, the Capcom stuff, James Bond this week. And I mean, it's mad to think that we could be getting new consoles next year.
Yeah, it's like the PS5 Pro, especially if you got it at the 700 that originally was, like, you don't need a PS6 when that kicks off because all the games will be on the Pro anyway. Like, that will last you for a long old time. But yeah, it's a bad situation, but we'll see who's next to pull the trigger. It makes the Switch 2 price increase look quaint. They're only sticking it up by a little bit, and they gave you till September.
In Japan, they've sold like 500,000 units of Switch 2 since they announced the price cut. Like, when we were there, like, everyone was just sold out. Like, people were like, oh, because what they did there is, I think they're enacting the price cut a lot sooner. I think it's just gone into effect.
It was the week you guys.
So everyone was rushing.
Yeah.
Whereas in the States, it's going into
September
effect in
1st.
September.
Yeah.
I think that might be something to do with stock. Someone told me about this. I can't remember what it was. Like, why they're different. But yeah, they sold 500,000 units because everyone kind of rushed to go and get it.
Yeah. We will see how this all progresses. Next story, speaking of the Switch 2, this year's Call of Duty is, brace yourself, Modern Warfare 4, and it's coming to Switch 2, but not last gen. It will be the first entry to skip PS4 and Xbox One since the first entry on those consoles, Call of Duty Ghost, a real shiter. But the new game, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, launches on October 23rd. The High Hegian over at Infinity War spoke to Tom Regan, who I'm not familiar with. When we were in Japan, me and Tom, obviously Tom's a vegan, Regan the vegan, and let me tell you, he was struggling in some of the places we were to try and get anything. They were just basically presenting him a plate of leaves because everything.
Drinks like a pirate, though.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. Drinks like a pirate. Still listens.
The police had to be called at one point. He was on the tables, top half.
And still Keza employs him. I don't understand it. But he was speaking to Jack O'Hara.
Some of the football chants he was singing, to be honest, mate, quite offensive.
It's exciting to be back on a Nintendo platform, smiles O'Hara. It's always fun to come out on a new platform, especially a portable platform. But for us, Nintendo is super exciting. To be honest, it's been pretty seamless. We got the hardware, then we got the game up and running pretty quickly. It's just about optimization and performance, which I feel like is a big asterisk over there. I think this is interesting. This could be a keen way to play through the single player portion, but I watched the gameplay they put out. That's a really good looking game.
Yeah, DLSS is doing a lot of heavy lifting there, right? And good, because a lot of those kind of sub 720p kind of native res games that are upscaled actually look better than you think you would. I find it really interesting. I mean, obviously, I've not gone to this event. Tom Regan's kind of done a bit of coverage for us on the side of the Guardian out at Infinity Ward in California. So I'm not really sure what they've shown, if anything, of this version. Probably nothing. But I'm interested in whether they're going to do Warzone on Switch 2 because this is the first, as you said, it's the first version to ditch, the first modern one to ditch the last gen consoles. And alongside that, they've announced that they're going to shut down the last gen Warzone. So obviously every year the premium game kind of like, merges in with Warzone and there's like links progression and stuff like that. So it kind of makes sense that if they're dropping the premium game, then they stop doing that. But so then obviously then Switch 2 starts to look like a bit of a bottleneck. But no, it's got more horsepower than those machines. But are they going to? Is it going to be the tether for Warzone or not? I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think that this is the kind of thing that it will be more of kind of a technical test, and I don't think many people will actually play the Switch 2 version of this game. Like, if you're a Call of Duty fan, you're not getting on your Switch 2, at least as your primary game, as your primary platform, especially because all your pals are on like all the other kind of platforms. But it's interesting to see the support, like as the Switch 2 continues. The obviously you played Resi 9 on Switch 2 and you rated that.
Yeah, I met Nakanishi-san in a Bid Summit last week. Just kind of like coincidentally, got him to sign some bits actually. Nice. And I told him that, yeah. I mean, my Japanese is not very good, so he might have just been smiling and nodding. But yeah, no, I played for the whole thing on Switch. So it was great. That's a big boon for them, Capcom, because a lot of developers on Unreal 5 have been struggling to get their games on Switch. If you're looking at, go and have a look. A lot of those big multi-platform games, the Unreal 5 ones, I think very recently, maybe in the last couple of weeks, they put out some sort of Switch 2, something to do with Nanite. They've put out a Switch 2 update. This is what I was told anecdotally, by the way, before it turns into something else. But obviously Capcom with their own engine, they've just been able to put all these games on there on day one and they run great, And this is it's like, it's almost like supplemental as well, is that you say no one's going to play Call of Duty, as their main on Switch 2, but maybe you play it as something like when you're away, on your vacations or whatever.
That's why we need to bring back cross-buy. I'd love some kind of if we lived in harmony, like when Lionel Hutz imagines a world without lawyers. Like if I could pay for a slightly higher tier, and it's just like you've got it on all your platforms, you can jump between them whenever you want. That would be class. But we're never going to be there again, unfortunately, until PlayStation gets the Vita 2 out, which at this point is probably going to cost about $1,500. My cross-buy dreams are dead. But yes, I thought the trailer was very cool. South Korea is an interesting location. The the political stuff might be a little bit interesting. There's a note in Tom's story about how this might a Korean journalist mentioned to him that there might be some tension because of the story themes. Starbucks in South Korea recently launched a cup that was like celebrating some moment like where the government tyrannically like slaughtered a bunch of protesting students, and Starbucks were like, yeah, we're going to do a cup celebrating this tank day, and then obviously Korea was like, what the fuck are you doing? So they smashed the cup to pieces. So
Matt Kim, former IGN journalist,
nice.
I believe is of Korean descent, right? Mm-hmm. He actually commented on our story, and he said the current South Korean president is a staunch proponent of reunification. So there might actually be a scenario where this game gets banned in Korea, or at the very least meet some kind of resistance from pro-unification groups there.
The South Korea and North Korea women's football teams were playing in the Asian Champions League semi-finals recently, and the North Korean team turned up in South Korea, all got one haircut. Very cheap, just one haircut template for a full squad of 23. England should do that. Speaking of, what do you think?
It'd be the high fade, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
the friar, what's it, like the old like medieval.
The friar tuck.
Yeah, friar tuck, that's it.
Yeah. No, they need the Harry Kane, and they'll come out spitting like this. Yeah, I think we're going to do really well at the World Cup. How do you think you're going to do it?
It's very close to your Jim Ryan, that. Harry Kane and Jim Ryan meet in a pub.
Okay. And it'll sound a little something like this. Hello, Harry. Hello, Jim. Thank you very much. Thank you for enjoying that performance. Get more of that at VGC Live. Yeah, your squad got announced. You have an unbelievable amount of talent that you can leave behind. People like Phil Foden, who would be the greatest Scotland player. I don't
think anyone's happy though. It's absolute bonkers. Absolute bonkers. I mean, obviously, I'm a West Ham fan. R.I.P. But like Jared Bowen is the first. I think he's got the most. I'm sure he's got the most goals assists of any English player. I think I'm pretty sure. I'm sure he's like third in the league, like the total, like combined. And so he's been left behind. You got stuff like, I don't know. I'll turn it into a football pod. But some of the guys who are going are very questionable for some of the guys who are left. But maybe for once it might actually be a manager who has an idea for a style and an identity that he's trying to execute, and I guess you got to trust him for that. And then we'll just boo him when we go out to. I saw someone put up yesterday, or it came in my feed, like a potential route. It's like I think it was like if we finished second or something in the group, we'd have to play Mexico in Mexico City.
Oh, yes.
At like 1 a.m. on a Monday or something.
Every single pub in Glasgow has just been like, so we've got obviously we have like really strict licensing laws up here, but for the World Cup they've just been like, it's whatever, like we're not going back to the World Cup for 30 more years, let's just go crazy. That first night is going to be a Police Scotland like high score for the amount of arrests, because our first game kicks off at like 11 o'clock at night.
I'm looking forward. I love, this is what it's all about, the weird time zones, as long as it's a weird like acceptable pub time zones. Like, you remember South Africa? I mean, you were probably 10 at that time. We had to have it on in the office, right? The bloody vuvuzelas. So, games were kicking off at like midday. That's not fun. Not really. I think we had to leave like sometimes to watch the England games. They start like 4-3, something like that. But I can't remember what one it was where they had the 1 a.m. kickoffs. Remember, it was a rubbish Roy Hodgson one, I think. I think we lost to Italy on the first game, something like that. But that's it's like bizarre. It's like Christmas, isn't it? It's Bizarro land when they keep the pubs open. The pubs are full at like 2 a.m.
It's weird because the last World Cup was mid-season. It didn't feel like a proper World Cup. So this is the first one that's felt proper since like the 2018 would have been the last one before that. Like I remember the 2006 one in Germany. Russia, yeah. 2006 one was shown
Germany
in my primary school. Like, you could just go and watch games like at all times because it was the last couple of weeks of terms kind of thing.
Christ. Xbox used to I think they had like an Adidas sponsorship or something. They used to hold parties to watch the England games, Xbox 360 parties.
Man, It's a shame. If Jeff had his head screwed on, we could have had some an England and a Scotland game at SGF. But alas, when we come back, we'll be chatting about Bit Summit, we'll be chatting about Metal Gear Solid 4, and we'll be chatting about VGC as a whole. We'll see you in a minute. And we are back. Next story with huge queues. Japan's Indie Game Festival Bit Summit just smashed its attendance record. This year's show, which was held in Kyoto earlier than its traditional July dates, recorded a record total attendance of 68,208 people last weekend, which represents a 17% increase compared to last year. Compared to the 2024 event, which saw 38,333 people attend, the Bit Summit's audience has grown by a significant 77%. The Bit Summit 2026 featured 125 general exhibitors selected from approximately 550 entries from around the world. Andy, Bit Summit's a cool old thing. It seems like more and more people I'm seeing in my kind of orbit are talking about it as the years go on. It seems to be building a bit of a rep.
It's a cool show. I think it's USP these days compared to the equivalent, like kind of growing you know, like events. By the way, these numbers, E3 used to get these sorts of numbers. You know, I mean, how many did they say? What is this year's 60? That's more than E3 used to get. I'm sure it is. And the queues were like round the block. But anyway, the USP is that it really is just indie games, and it feels authentic as well. Like there'll be like there's lots of one-man efforts, you know, kind of like set up on their own laptop, and you know, really appreciative of you trying their game. And there's lots of like weird games where you got like shout into microphones and punch a dummy and stuff like that. It's just a cool show. And I think it's got the attention of the kind of the boutique publishers, you know, like your kind of like Critical Reflexes and, you know, PlayStack and stuff like that. They're all there looking for games, you know, scouting for games. Less so the press. I don't know how much is actually there, like in terms of like, you know, big scoops and you know, opportunities and stuff like that, because that's really like the battle at the heart of the media. So, you know, the games press really want to promote and champion a lot of these indie games, but obviously conversely, we've got Google coming to put us out of business. And so these two opposing forces all the time. Like you're trying to write about the big stuff, but you'd love to champion the smaller stuff. So we always try and make some room to write about this, you know, kind of smaller games. And Chris has written 3 really good, you know, kind of daily blogs that you can find on the website of all of the cool games that he discovered at the show. And traditionally from Bit Summit, a lot of them some of them go on and end up being quite big, quite well known. So it's worth checking out.
Is that Ratatatan game out yet? The fake Patapon
this year. I can't keep track of it.
Yeah,
I think it's coming. I think it's coming out like this. It's like June, July, something like that. I don't even know if it's been in early access. I can't keep track of it.
It passed the vibe check. That's the main thing. But yes, Bit Summit, very good. Bit Summit Punch. We need more names. By
the way, that's the coolest thing. Other shows should nick that. They have a different theme every year.
Yeah,
Summer Game Fest. Drift.
Wow. Yeah. Last year was Summer Game Fest riots. This year
Summer Game Fest riots.
Warm. But yes, Bit Summit, you can go and check out the coverage on the site. For my indie coverage, I'll do the same as I did last time and randomly pick a game and glom onto it like Recoin, and then back that for the rest of the year and pay no attention to the indie space outside of that. Nothing's came across my desk that has really filled me with joy quite like Recoin yet, but we'll see.
I think put it on console, mate.
They're putting it on console and mobile.
I was moaning at them about it at Bit Summit. So.
Yeah. Oh, I should text Wout. Like if we can get it on mobile before Tuesday when I fly, that's game over at that point. I'll turn up to LAX with a completely dead phone at that point. But we shall see. Story number 4. Metal Gear Solid 4 port footage confirms it's keeping iPod and Playboy collabs. Wheel. After decades of moaning about it being locked on the PlayStation 3, Metal Gear Solid 4 is set to feature on the MGS Master Collection Volume 2, which is coming out on PS5, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, Switch 2, and PC on August 27th. They recently live streamed an hour of this game and showed off that it still has the iPod, the PlayStation, the Playboy, all the different collabs. And boy, Andy, is this a brown looking game? Every time I see this game, I forget how brown and grey this thing looked.
That's what games looked like in 2008 or whenever this came out.
Yeah, man. I wonder, how do you think they're they're doing this? Is there an argument? Can they make an argument maybe that it's like, oh, well, it's not a new version of a game, they're just porting it so the original license still applies? Like,
I don't know. If we were a proper podcast, we probably would have asked someone about that. But there's a lot of licensed stuff in this game.
Yeah,
like Mountain Dew and Doritos and like Uniqlo and I think Ottocon's got a Mac, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Surely they didn't sign that stuff in perpetuity. I mean, maybe they did. It was a different era. It was like all that stuff probably got signed in like 2007.
Went out of print.
Yeah,
and I can't imagine Apple's asking a lot for iPod.
Yeah,
kind of licensing these days. So it doesn't really tell you anything, does it? Those two particular ones.
Yeah, Konami probably went to them and they were like, look, we can barely get this game running. If we need to take this stuff out, these are load-bearing IP.
Do you have any idea how many polygons this iPod has?
Like, this game was such a disaster that we've had to lock it to a PlayStation 3 like it's an infection for all this time. Like, I'm looking forward to playing that again. It's been a long time.
It's quite nice kind of seeing it because it has been locked away. Watching that footage again was really nostalgic, and it kind of it reminds you that how great that game was.
I used to be like very intimidated by that game because you hear like all the stories about it, like, oh, it's got this like ridiculous part at the end where you're like doing this thing for so long and it's like not really a part.
You could be describing really any Metal Gear game.
I feel like this was the one where Kojima was really in his bag in terms of like the 2-hour cutscenes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, it's massively self-indulgent. But the good thing is, and I think will genuinely like massively improve the experience, is that the loading screens have all gone right.
Smoking tabs, like
those were some long loading screens on that game.
You should be allowed to flip it on where you have to like virtually install each of the discs so you can sit and watch them smoke for the.
But that's the thing on this, right? Is they're going to have to go in and like take out a lot of stuff anyway because there's it only came out on PS3. There's so much PlayStation stuff in this game.
Yeah,
but doesn't he have like a little DualShock that he controls the little mech with? And obviously, like there's the Ottocon, like literally talks about Blu-rays and power of cell and stuff like that.
They should keep all that stuff. Like I always prefer it when they maintain all that kind of muck because it's a product of its time and I think it should reflect that. But obviously take out dodgy stuff. But I thought it was when they did the remake of 3. They had a load of gaming magazines from back in the day. Like, I think it was like Famitsu's and Game Informer's that had MGS3 on it that were just on the desks and stuff in the original game. They didn't bother scaling them up. It's still like the PS2, like incredibly compressed magazine sitting on a desk, but they did go and get...
It's like, who do they ask, mate? All of those guys don't exist anymore. Go and ask someone about a magazine cover.
They did go and get the original Glamour models but and put 4K posters of them in all the lockers. It's like Konami's got his head screwed on straight. Like, that's what they go to. They can't phone up Brian and be like, oh, can we get this cover of Game Informer with Snake on it instead of this tiny... See, that's the thing. Surely they could just go and get a physical copy of one of those magazines and scan it and like, who's going to get us? But I suppose they're a little bit skittish about that.
All kinds of loopholes with that stuff, man.
Yeah. August 27th. I'm really looking forward to that. I hope that's something that comes in quite early because that could be a fun summer jaunt. While it's 35 degrees outside, you can simulate that by crawling through an exhaust fan at the end of MGS4. Spoilers for a 20-year-old game. Just finally, Andy, since it's just me and you for a rare treat, I wanted to check in with you about, and people ask this in the Discord all the time, but I don't feel qualified to answer it because I'm like one of the battle droids. I'm one of the Roger Rogers, whereas you are a member of the Trade Federation. You're Newt Gunray of this operation. So I wanted to check in. How's things going with the site, with Patreon? What are things you're excited about going on kind of for the rest of the year with VGC generally? Well,
we exist. We continue to exist.
That's a win. 1-0.
I don't know. There's like there's I mean the Patreon's going great, right? I mean the Patreon's like bigger than it's ever been. I mean we wax lyrical all the time about how great it is to have that relationship with most engaged readers and get real feedback and actually feel like we're creating stuff for an audience who kind of feed back to us. The live event will be the big change. They'll really feel like before and after when there's a tangible example of that. So that's something that I'm looking forward to and nervous about in equal measure. Like the games, it's the same old, like, I feel like I'm a stuck record with the games media. And Google announced recently, didn't they, that they were going to, further prioritize AI in search, which was more anxiety. But that's why, we need to, keep going this route and hopefully become a reader funded publication at some point in the future. Because certainly, when Google is just eating up and plagiarizing content and spitting it out for people, doesn't fill you with confidence, really, does it? That we work all day for someone else to scrape your stuff. And you see there's sites that have been a lot more affected than us. I mean, luckily, a lot of our stuff is being a news site predominantly has a low shelf life anyway. Like if you want to scrape our news story from yesterday, good luck, because it's not relevant in 2 days' time. Whereas if you're like, a Cerebe's the big one, I think of, where they put a lot of effort into these big evergreen, databases of stats and stuff. And then these apps and AI apps just come through and just scrape all their stuff. And it's, really affects them. So I'm hoping Summer Game Fest will be another good one this year. We had a good Patreon drive last year. Everyone really kind of supported our efforts, and we put a lot of podcasts out, which we're planning to do again this year.
We also have, for people who support Upgrade, join over SGF, we'll have something fun to give you away there. I'm not entirely sure I'm allowed to talk about it yet, but
there's some good stuff going on at Summer Game Fest, in there. We've got some fun guests.
Yeah.
There's some good content.
Guests. No surprises that there'll be exciting games to talk about, lots of games to talk about. We'll be putting out stuff routinely. I head over there kind of early next week, so your regularly scheduled programming will be interrupted. You'll get your off topic on Monday, where Chris and Andy and I will talk about their exploits in Japan, but after that we'll kind of transition into the Summer Game Fest schedule. We'll obviously have all your news from all the showcases and things like that, which is I love covering that stuff. Like, I think the rush to get a story up while the trailer's going on and we're all shouting, it's this, what's the date? Like, I think that's still super fun. And to quote James Bond's theme, nobody does it better. But yes, if you'd like to support that, patreon.com/videogameschronicle. And next week we'll have more chat at Summer Game Fest about maybe a little reward if you support Upgrade or join patreon.com/videogameschronicle. Who can say? I can say it, I just can't say what it is yet. But yeah, the VGC is an exciting time. I feel like as more people learn the lesson that we learned, that we have to be this kind of reader supported, very like, AI can't replace me, you, or Chris as people. And I think that's the thing that will keep us going. Like, people support VGC, people support us. We're indelibly tied to each other as humans. So I think that seeing the audience turn up for that is great. I did the Viva La Games Club last week talking about MGS, and a couple of members of the Patreon and the Discord turned up, and it was so nice to just chat to them. And I was like, there's like 5 of you guys here, and there's like 200 of you going to be there in October. I'm
genuinely really looking forward to that. Like, genuinely, I talk about this all the time, so I always feel like I'm being really boring repeating this stuff, but I really feel like I've run the kind of gambit with going from magazines to peak Google days, and then we're kind of going back around again, where we were so connected with our audiences in the magazine days. It was like a club, and then we were totally disconnected from them, like, to say 10 years ago. When everyone really was writing for the faceless Google robot, and then now it kind of feels like it's coming back round, and it is about small ships and real communities, and so I'm feeling optimistic, and I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone in October.
Excellent. We're a gang. Join the gang at patreon.com/Video Games Chronicle. Get your tickets there. You're clearing off this weekend, Andy. I'm going to do hee-haw. I'm going to relax. I'm going to try and chill. I was like weirdly ill in the middle of this week, and it didn't help that I was at my desk.
Illness.
Yeah, I was at my desk. I was doing James Bond stuff, and I had a little desk fan on, and it didn't occur to me that I was just blowing the hot air from the back of the PS5 Pro into my face over and over again.
The PS5 Pro lurgy.
Yeah, the best lurgy in gaming. So we will be back very soon. Until next time, say goodbye, Andy.
Goodbye.
We'll see you next week. VGC is supported by Patreon. Check out patreon.com/Video Games Chronicle for more podcasts, ad-free browsing, and extra content. Thank you for your support.